Although they are very similar, mammoths and mastodons each originated from a common ancestor called the elephantid mastodon. Mastodons remained their own species and eventually went extinct due to climate change and humans killing them for food. As you can see from the chart, all these species were very similar in size and shape with slight variations. Also, from the same species came the Asian and African elephants. Even though they are both from the same family, both the species of elephants is different from both its ancestors and the ones living today.
There are two living elephants today, the African elephant and the Asian elephant. These two elephants are closely related to extinct mammoths and mastodons. The African elephant, on average, is 10 to 11 feet tall at the shoulder and weighs between 4 and 6 tons at full size. It has a saddle-shaped back, low domed head, gently upward curving tusks, and long ears. The tip of the trunk has two fingers, one upper and one lower. The smaller Asian elephant is about 8 to 10 feet tall at the shoulder and weighs between 3 and 5 tons. Its back is curved, giving the appearance of a humpback, and has a double-domed head. The tusks are gently curved upwards, but are smaller than the African elephants, and the ears are smaller as well. Lastly, the Asian elephant has one finger at the tip of its trunk. These creatures may be different species, but you can see how closely related they are.
One elephants and woolly mammoths share a common ancestor that lived about 6 million years ago. Researchers are using modern techniques to piece together the ancient elephant history. From looking at fossilized bones and other features, scientists have proposed that woolly mammoths are more closely related to Asian elephants than to African elephants, but it also hinted the opposite conclusion. Many tests were done in the DNA of all three species, but in the end it was concluded that Asian elephants are more commonly related.
During the Ice Age, mammoths were slightly bigger and more widespread than mastodons, had fatty humps on their necks, a much-needed source of nutrients in the harsh northern climates in which some species lived. Another example is their teeth. Just like today's elephants, mammoths tended to live in wide open plains, as demonstrated by their elephant-like molars, each of which looked like a bony cheese grater and was built up to grind tough grasses. But the mastodons had high-crowned teeth that were better suited for mashing leaves and twigs, and appropriately. Mastodons' remains are usually found in forested environments.
As you can tell by the fossils of the mastodon, mammoth, Asian, and African elephant, they are closely related. Their structures only have slight changes.
By sequencing the genome of the Alaskan fossil that was around 130 years old, it was concluded that mastodons, which diverged 24 to 28 million years ago from the elephants, are the ancestors of African elephant and branched off, leading to mammoths and Asian elephants approximately 7.6 million years ago. Mammoths and Asian elephants diverged approximately 6.7 million years ago. Finally, it was found that the mitochondrial mutation rate of proboscideans to be roughly half the rate in primates during at least the last 24 million years. This is why they evolved slower than humans do.
Elephants greet, treat their young, and act much like humans do. Instead of shaking hands, they just intertwine trunks and gently bump heads. They even mourn for their dead and hold certain types of funerals just like humans do. They take care of their children for years like we do too. Both humans and elephants communicate with each other through vocal sounds. They tend to do it in a much noisier way.
It is challenging to say that elephants will continue to evolve today because of all the poachers that hunt the elephants for their tusks. But luckily, we aren't the only forces now trying to hold back the tide of poachers. Elephants all over the world have begun selecting against having tusks. The tuskless trait appears to run in families and may have been a result of tuskless females being spared by poachers. Tuskless mothers survive in greater numbers, and hence have more tuskless daughters. By 2005, it was estimated that the tuskless population had risen to between 5 and 10%. It's clear that around the world, the tusklessness is getting passed on. It is possible to bring woolly mammoths back. We have enough DNA samples that we could place an embryo of an Asian elephant, their closest living ancestor, and bring it back to life. By copying genes from frozen woolly mammoths and placing them inside of an Asian elephant, it is possible to bring back a species that went extinct over 4,000 years ago. They want to bring the mammoth back and try to create a hybrid with the Asian elephant. They hope to create a species that is able to withstand colder climates, hopefully meaning that elephants will be able to live in better habitats and escape extinction.
You can clearly tell through the fossil, DNA, biogenetics, and just by looking at these creatures that they evolved from the same thing. Evolution is real.